Today I'm going to try and explain NFTs. I'm crying because it was so much work. Today in this video we're going to be talking about what is an NFT, how did we get here, what is like the history of it, what is it made of, like how to do it. And then I'm going to actually finish it up by making my own and just kind of showing you how the whole process works. So let's get right into it. What is an NFT? An NFT stands for non-fungible token, and at its most simplest, it is a token that guarantees that that digital piece of artwork is original and it is only one of its kind, that are limited amounts. It's essentially like autographing your artwork at the end of it. Now, let's break down what an NFT is a little bit more. So, and fungible means interchangeable. So, for instance, money and Bitcoin and the stock market, those are all things that can be broken down. There's a lot of it. It has its own individual value, and you can give it to people and so on and so forth. There's a lot of it. Examples of non-fungible items of stuff that are unique and one of a kind, like original artwork, real estate, individual one of a kind autographed baseball cards, and all of that. So for the digital space, NFTs have become virtual collectibles, essentially. And so let's now take it down to how people find value in these. So think of an NFT as being like a player card, baseball, football player card, whatever. Anybody can get a Tom Brady player card. It's pretty easy to get a hold of, but only a few people get an autographed player card, and that makes that one more valuable. An actual example of this happened earlier this year, I think, where a Tom Brady football card sold for over $1 million. Even though everyone has that exact same card, the fact that it was autographed made it a collectible. So that is kind of the example of a physical example of what an NFT is trying to do virtually. People who are not going to get on board with NFTs are people who already think that the digital realm has no value. If you think that everything that you cannot touch does not deserve a dollar sign, this isn't going to be for you. You're probably never going to be convinced it's a good idea. If you are also someone who doesn't collect things physically, if you think collectibles are silly anyway, this is probably not going to be for you. So those are people that doesn't matter how well it's explained, they're just not going to find value in it. The other people are people who either really do not understand or cannot get on board with Bitcoin, or think that cryptocurrency is all a phase. That is also something that, is quite possible. And it's okay if you have those beliefs. There are different strokes for different folks. I'm just trying to break down how other people find it valuable. So now let's get into a little bit of the history of this. So now we're going to talk a little bit about how we got here. Now, there's a lot of information that I'm just going to gloss over, and really it's not that important to know all the specifics and how it got started. It's just kind of good to know like where in the timeline it all happened. So first of all, let's talk about 2012 was when Bitcoin was only about worth $5, and it was the first time that we saw an NFT kind of start to come to life, and that was with the colored coins. It was essentially Bitcoin that was specific colors, that was unique to everything else, and you could trade them and get them, and they were worth just a little bit more. And so that was the idea of like the first thought of like a creative element to the cryptocurrency. And so now we're going to jump to 2014, where Counterparty came, and this was the first open source place that you could trade the idea of different or unique collectible digital medias. And so then we're going to jump to 2016, where we see the next big like growth in the whole crypto exchange, and that is with, and I kid you not, the rare Pepes. I know, you're thinking, do you want to be suppressed? It doesn't really matter. Nobody watches my videos anyway. But essentially, the rare Pepes were just a bunch of artistically made Pepe the Frogs that were collectible in 2016, and were exchanged in a token called Good Boy Points. I am not making this up, nor am I making up the concept of meme economics. Again, that is a real thing, and it really started bringing up the idea of creating digital work that was one of a kind, that had like authentication, essentially these authentified tokens that you could have and trade on Counterparty. Counterparty really made it possible for them. And then we're going to enter the Cryptopunks. The Cryptopunks were created by these two dudes. I can't remember them off the top of my head, so I'm just gonna write them in later. And they gave them all away for free, which is insane because they're worth a lot of money now. But they were also using an unstable currency. But in 2017, which is when the Cryptopunks were created, this is when Ethereum came in. Now, Bitcoin had just reached the mainstream media, and Ethereum had kind of come out of this. And Ethereum became what is now known as the main currency for NFTs to be sold on. And so specifically, I'm going to read it out, ERC 721. So that is what they use, is Ethereum. Okay, so now after that, we started seeing the next evolution, which was the CryptoKitties, which was essentially online cat breeding. You could trade and breed cats online with specific things, and it was essentially an NFT game. It was the first time that you could exchange money via the internets and trade the kitties game. It was a game. It was a game that you could pay and make digital kitties playing them. They were adorable, and yeah, okay. That gets us to currently when artists are now creating work that they can authenticate and saying, yes, this digital work is yours, and it is now, like, the NFT token guarantees that this has been purchased by you. So that is how we got here. If you didn't understand everything, that's okay. You don't have to. I barely do. But if I dove any deeper into that, we would be here for 5 hours. So now let's talk about the exchange. So the exchange that they use is Ethereum, as of making this video, the exchange rate for Ethereum is this. And the places that I've noticed it being sold, and I'm gonna read them off because they are honestly stupid names. So OpenSea, Rarible, Super Rare, Atomic Assets, all these. The ones though that I've seen the most examples of are Mintbase and Rarible. And so those are kind of the ones that I'm going to be really focusing on as I start going on my own little NFT adventure. So let's get into it. Getting started. So we're going to go on this experience together, making the MetaMask. So first of all, are making an NFT and then going in. So let's do this. So the first thing you need to do is make an original work of art. I did that, check. All right, and now I want to sell it. So first, in order, you have to spend money to make money in this. So I am going to buy Ethereum, which is the NFT exchange, and I used MetaMask, which looks like this. I found that I liked this one the best because I liked how many people were using it, and then also like the user friendliness and the security levels that I noticed, that I saw. So I went with that one, but there was a bunch of them that were named like Rainbow and a couple other ones, but I thought that they were a little too easy to use, and so I always get a little worried about too easy to use. Anyway, so that was what I decided to use. So I bought $30 worth of it. I put money into this, yay. And so then as I was waiting for my bank statements and everything to come back with that, I finished up my artwork. I turned it into a JPEG. You can put on Rarible JPEGs, MP4s, MP3s, PNGs, and GIFs. So those are all the things that you can kind of put together, and then you can sell it on Rarible. So I started with Rarible. Now, here we go. Once I got in, my experience kind of got a little interesting. I realized you have to spend gas in order to create the blockchain, and then in order to create the mint, you have to spend more money. And so I was not realizing it. So the first time I did it, I accidentally spent $12 on nothing. I threw away $12 for no reason. I might as well have just burnt it in the ether. It's gone. Because I made a blockchain and then didn't mint it because I went and I didn't realize it was 2 transactions. Because out of all my research, I didn't follow through with that little last piece. Learn from my mistakes. So I get to the last part and I get to minting it, and it would cost like $60 just to mint it, get the mint tokens. And there was I had a hard time figuring out how to predict how much it was going to cost, because it costed a different amount for gas and it costed a different amount for the mint depending on what you did. It was either $30 or $50. So essentially on average though, it was anywhere from $60 to $100 to post anywhere from 1 to 3 pictures of this piece of artwork, and I am an experimenter, but I am not willing to throw $60 away on just an experiment. That's why I only bought $30, and $30 is as much as I was really willing to throw away at this, and I had reached my budget. So that is where I stopped. I stopped putting this up. I know I said I was going to finish it, and I tried, but I am a cheap little miss, and I know it's not gonna sell. I know that. I was just gonna do it for the experience. So here we go. So I stopped at that point. So let's talk about my experiences with it. It's expensive. You have to be able to spend money to make money. So this isn't like, you know, where you can go onto Redbubble and sell your art on a t-shirt and then you can get money back from it. Like, yes, you might have a larger return, but it's essentially like, it's expensive and it's a risk, because if you can't sell your art in a regular world, are you going to be able to sell your art in a virtual one? And so kind of figuring out, can you understand the market? Can you make something that's there? It will add up really quickly. And depending on how high the prices are at the time, it could be really expensive. So my overall thing is it's probably not for me, but I don't live in the digital space the way some people do. Some people have got these connections online where they can sell their work in the digital space, just like how some people can't just walk into a gallery, slap their art on the wall, and expect it to sell. It's that same concept, only in a virtual landscape. If you have like cultivated a following that can follow you into this digital space, if you have something worth collecting that you can pull people into, that is maybe where you can find it. And also, if you're an artist that maybe you've kind of grown stagnant on your current like platform, yes, and you've got some money to burn, apparently, you could do this as well. The conclusions is, if you have heard all of this information, you're like, this sounds neat, here are my tips for you, my advice. 1 is, don't spend more money than you're willing to lose, and you'll probably lose it at first. It's a bit of a weird investment. 2, make sure that you research the market before you get started. Look and see what's popular. See if you could actually make something that's good. Or sell stuff that is like, maybe if you're already an established artist, then sell like your stuff that you're the creme de la creme. Find that thing that just you've been sitting on for a while, and then release it to as an NFT. So know your market, release it. And 4, you know, be wary. You know, it's a new thing. Like, it's only been around since 2012. So, you know, with everything that you do, research what you're gonna do with it. Make sure you're not just putting your money at things. Watch out for scams. Watch out for like people trying to take advantage of it. There is no real get rich quick scheme out there that doesn't have dire consequences, in my opinion, and so just kind of take that with a grain of salt. All right, so that is an art teacher's explanation from history to the end of how to work and understand NFTs. This has taken me all day. So hope you found this helpful. Let me know if you think that this was a good video. Let me know if you plan on using any NFTs in the future. What do you think about this whole new art market? Do you feel like it's going to be sticking around, or do you feel like it's just a phase? Do you feel like we're just collecting virtual Beanie Babies? All right, everybody, have a great day. Bye!